Hey good people, and welcome back to the channel. I want to wish everybody a happy Friday out there, and I hope everybody in the southeast of the country is staying safe from the hurricane. But in a few moments, I'll be sharing my thoughts and feelings on episode 10 of Ready to Love Miami. And over the course of this video, I'll be providing my episode breakdown, which is beneficial for those who don't feel like watching the entire episode, followed by my thoughts on the cast members' connections, and I'll cap the review off with my overall rating. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Episode 10 picks off where we left off last week. For those who may have forgot, last week's episode ended in a cliffhanger, with Brandi set to announce which guy was going to be eliminated. Swayze and Samson were nominated, but before Brandi could make the announcement, Nephew Tommy steps in and announces that LJ will be eliminated from the show. And the reasoning was because he didn't show up for the retreat. But the bigger reason was that none of the women really wanted him as a connection. And if you remember checking out my predictions video at the start of the season, I predicted that LJ, as well as two other guys, would be locks for elimination. And I hate to say it, but I told you so. But Nephew Tommy lets the rest of the cast know that the men now have the power to eliminate, and he gathers the cast members together to play a game. In this game, the women have to pick one man that they want to go on a date with. Nephew Tommy will ask the men questions, and the women will have to try to guess the right answers. Kayla picks Mike, Brandi picks Mike, Jayla picks Randall, Kaden picks Swayze, Charrisse picks Samson, and Tronika picks Randall. The questions being asked were fairly easy for the ladies. That is, if they really paid attention to the surface level things that the men told them. But near the end of the game, Tronika and Kayla tie. Tronika wins the game, and she gets to go on a date with Randall. Jay really doesn't seem happy about this, and throughout the episode, she has no problem letting Randall know how she feels about it. Kayla also feels some type of way about her experience at the resort, but we'll get to that a little later. Towards the end of the episode, the men meet up with Nephew Tommy to talk about their connections. And as expected, Tronika and Kayla are up for elimination. What wasn't expected was that Tronika was sent home over Kayla this episode. I know that Tronika had a very slight chance of getting Randall, but Mike and Randall showed zero interest towards Kayla the entire episode, and it really made no sense for the guys to keep her around while acknowledging that Tronika was the better woman. But let's get into the connections for the episode. Although LJ didn't make an appearance for the episode, we see Tronika reacting to the news that he got eliminated. And I'm not sure if Tronika is genuinely hurt, or if she was told to forget about the news that LJ was still smashing somebody a month ago. Either way, I'm calling BS on this. But since we're on Tronika, after winning the game, she and Randall go on a romantic date where they get a foot rub and they get to participate in an eye-gazing meditation. I'm sure that Randall would have preferred to have gone on a helicopter ride for a date, but the date was not only intimate, it was also economically friendly, aka cheap. I saw Tronika and Randall together during the scene, and it seems like there's some chemistry there, but I think that it might be too late for them to get a loving connection from here on out. In the earlier parts of the episode, Charrisse and Samson meet up to talk about surface level stuff. After leaving the resort, Charrisse invites Samson out to her business to give Samson a facial. Now I wasn't sure whether this date was meant to be romantic or if it was meant for Charrisse to promote her business. But Samson still has his walls up high when talking to Charrisse. And from my point of view, Samson isn't getting nearly as deep with Charrisse as he did with Shakira when she was on the show. And I think that speaks to how there's somebody for everybody out there. Jay and Randall then meet up after all the festivities, and it seems like Jay expects Randall to make the decision right then and there, while telling all the other women that he's made the decision. Something tells me that some extracurricular activities with Randall and Jay may have occurred behind the scenes, and Jay has developed some feelings because of that. What I find interesting is that Tronika is Randall's only connection that isn't pressuring him to make a decision. But Randall seems to be stuck on Jay, and he doesn't know how to tell her that he wants somebody else. I also feel that if the shoe was on the other foot, then Jay will be angry with Randall for pressuring her to make a decision. We then get a scene with Mike and Brandi together, but this scene is like any other scenes of them together. It's pretty widely known that their connection is solid and they're not going anywhere. But for a brief moment, Mike meets up with Kayla as they're leaving the resort, and he lets her know that he doesn't want to lose her, which gives her mixed signals. But Kayla's still choosing to continue on instead of self-eliminating. We then see Randall meeting up with Kayla for a brief moment, and he tells her that he feels overwhelmed as well as apologize to her for not giving her the attention at the resort. They really don't have much to talk about after that, but at this point, it's pretty clear that Kayla is just along for the ride. But overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will give this episode a solid 1. There was absolutely no reason why last week's elimination needed to be brought over to this episode. I don't think Trinika deserved to get eliminated this episode, being that Kayla made absolutely no progress with her connections. And to be brutally honest, I don't see any of these couples staying together by the reunion episodes. But that's how I feel, and I would like to know how you feel about tonight's episode, or my review. Feel free to leave your comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.